Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and I thank the honourable member for this question. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have about 489 personnel serving in 6 mission fields located in Syria, Egypt, Iraq, Sudan, Lebanon, and Israel, respectively. Mr. Speaker, sir, like every other returning citizens, our soldiers serving in peacekeeping missions pose the risk of being carriers of the virus, and of course we need to be very careful with the observance of the protocols that are in place to ensure that this does not happen. The fact that no Fijian peacekeeper has contracted the virus in the course of duty is a testament of the strict adherence to the protocols that are in place, and of course the professional conduct of the troops as well, together with the authorities that are in place. Mr. Speaker, sir, when it comes to soldiers deployed, I'll come back to the protocols that the RFMF has, consistent with what's being laid out by the Minister of Health. But in the mission fields, the organizations themselves, whether it's ANDOF or ANSO and MFO, the missions, Mr. Speaker, sir, they have their own protocols in place. And of course, that's a key criteria for our troops to ensure that to help in the containment and minimizing the spread of the virus in the mission fields, that they adhere to the protocols that are in place. But very briefly, with UN missions, training was conducted, Mr. Speaker, sir, or were conducted in all missions, with the training package with materials that was prepared by the United Nations, particularly under the WHO, to educate them on what COVID was, how to identify symptoms, how it was transmitted, and how to protect themselves, even individually and collectively. These were taken by the medical experts and professionals through doctors and nurses in the mission fields. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, sir, there are also host countries that also imposed additional restrictions on the troops, and they don't have much choice, but of course to adhere to the national priorities as well, according to the host country priorities and protocols. Mr. Speaker, sir, for that reason, we would have, we have seen that there have been instances where troops on deployment have to be extended, not the usual 12 months, but now most of the troops who are serving abroad have to be extended for an additional 6 months. So in total, they are serving 18 months abroad because of these restrictions and what's being imposed by the host countries. And of course, the UN is also trying to come up, Mr. Speaker, sir, with rotation plans in order to accommodate the requirements under this under the WHO protocols with reference to the pandemic. So that also, Mr. Speaker, sir, and on that note, I wish to acknowledge the troops for the commitment, and of course their families too. Particularly, as you very well, Mr. Speaker, know, that to be extended in mission areas is not that easy, and particularly in foreign lands as such. But our troops have been able to extend for an additional 6 months because of the COVID protocols that are in place. The RFMF, Mr. Speaker, sir, we have protocols before departure, But of course, based on the question, I'll focus more on the returning troops. The protocols that are in place, one, they must provide a negative COVID-19 test 72 hours before boarding the aircraft on the return flight. Two, they must be provided with COVID-19 personal protection equipment. Three is the mandatory 14-day quarantine on arrival at the Ministry of Health managed isolation facility. And of course, prior to being released, they must again provide a negative COVID-19 test before they are finally released to get home. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to also acknowledge the Australian government, particularly for their assistance, particularly in the transportation of troops to most of these missions. This arrangement works very well for Fijians with the strategic lifts by the Australian government to visit their troops as well. At the same time, Fijian troops are also included in these flights, and we wish to acknowledge the Australian government for that kind of assistance, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, the Republic of Fiji Military Forces takes the pandemic threat seriously, and of course there is also a directive by the commander whereby any RFMF personnel found to breach that directive and the protocols in place, there will be disciplinary actions, including being discharged from the forces as well. So I wish to assure this August House of government's commitment, and particularly the RFMF as well, to ensure the safety of our troops when they do return to Fiji. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.